Good day, everybody. Here I have a display of the early Russian cucumbers I decided not to take the seeds from just yet. These are the Chiriman squash, Black Hopi squash with color on it, and the first of the Klondike Blue Stripe for seed collection. Note with some dates, and when I open up that the watermelon, I'll see how developed the seeds are, and then I'll gauge the rest of the collection by that. Collected seeds from the stir fry mix, and unbelievable amounts here and on the back counter of jars collecting seeds. Did a rough count on the Wonderberry seeds. See, even up here, these are all the paper plates stacked that are drying seeds. On the Wonderberries, I had a count of about 20,000 so far, just off of about 6 plants. Incredible amounts of baby lemon apples are all over the place. Bins are full in the refrigerator. They don't store that long, so it's best to share them, give them away, and eat as many as you can. In my refrigerator, they have about a 3 to 4 day shelf life before you start to see the fatigue. Bending over, seeds are going to maturity on the sunflower. This is another one of the Thai edible gourds. Baby gourds showing up. They're very soft and fuzzy. I think I forgot to mention this, that if you want to enjoy the blooms on your Thai edible, you have to come out in the evening. That's a night blooming flower. Blue better sage flower pods finally drying up, doing a little seed collecting there. The tomato transplants in the beds are doing well, and we have some flowering going on. Basil seed pods starting to show signs of drying out. And the red-ribbed Swiss chard that's here getting the midday shade looks so much better than the Swiss chard that's in the garden. I did get around to doing some transplanting last night. The papayas went nuts, and here is the start of the lychee fruit. Wonderberries, the skins, after I'm done collecting, I've been burying those, so I've got a lot of different little sprouting areas for that. And there's some herbs and tea. And the asparagus flowers. What could you say? They always look amazing. I think I'm going to let this one get quite a bit bigger. The Kleckley Sweet, I've been saying it Keckley's, and I looked it up. It's actually Kleckley's Sweet Watermelon. It's doing great out back. When we go back there, I'll give you a view of that. And there is the beautiful seed head for the giant golden amaranth. Love it. Even though it's about 2 feet, a foot shorter than what I'm used to seeing. That Love's Eyes bleeding amaranth over there by the strawberries and the watermelon is a nice height. I cleaned up the brush pile and put it into the burn pit. Very beautiful, bushy specimen of sweet basil. And the Marion tomatoes. The Ampius bell pepper producing some flowers. Nice tomato specimen right there. The newest transplants of tomato. Let's see, I'll check on the pods. We're getting a lot of rain here, which is uncharacteristic to the area. I might have to prop up the seed pods here just to make sure they don't rot. But that's the black Spanish round. That never formed radish, went straight to seed. I've mentioned that before. I'll label that and just use that as a sprouting seed. I've never done this before, tried to sprout the pineapples directly in the ground. Normally I have a pot because I bring them in the wintertime. But they're taking. I should do a little trim on the end of the leaves. And here are the seed formation on the dill. Wild blackberries. They're doing well. I can't believe how long the Sensations mixed color tobacco blooms are here. It's pretty unreal. Thought those flowers would have faded by now. The Hopi squash hanging. More lemon apples. Getting clobbered by mosquitoes out here too. Unfortunately, still nothing but male flowers. Saw my first baby bunny in the yard yesterday. The dogs didn't notice. We'll see how long that lasts. I don't know if the dogs will be able to catch them. Oh, while I'm speaking of dogs, I'll do a puppy update. I'm having a little bit of guilt over it, but I was only able to find 3 to get into a no-kill shelter, and the other 2 had to go to the Humane Society. So that's heartbreaking. Just as I had suspected, this is definitely the Hopi ceremonial. You'll see the tops of the plant pinched off. It started to flower. Even though that's a small specimen. They're not very large tobacco plants to begin with, but that's a large, small specimen for that variety. I'm going to let it produce seed. So I don't want those flowers opening up at the same time that the other tobacco is still in full bloom. First of the Cal Wonder bell peppers for the direct sow, starting to fruit. And I put in some papaya here, spread them out, give them some space. I don't like to do this, but these were all the secondary ones. They're just sitting there. They're gonna fry in the sun today. Tomatoes showing, having problems with this. I believe this is the shamrock squash. Every single baby has aborted on this. When there are receptive females, there's no viable male flowers present. Now there's viable male flowers present and no receptive females. So it's dropped every single one of the squash. Hopefully I'll be able to get a specimen or 2 out of that. We shall see. And there's the seed heads for the Love Lies Bleeding. And they should actually be every bit as big as that golden one up front. Still very pretty. The arugula, lots of flowers going on there. And that navy bean I just decided to let go to seed. And here is the second round of watermelon. Cluckley Sweet. Doing nicely. This is my first year with this, and this is called a green sausage tomato. I only have 2 plants. The seeds were the original seed stock from the seed company, and I had a horrible germination rate. I really, they're not old seed stock either, which is disappointing because of how much I recommend the seed companies I had been using. The plants that I had initially started with, the varieties I had chosen to start with, had a pretty good germination rate. Wow. There's beautiful color on that lemon apple. I usually pick them when they're lighter than that. The skin's, softer. There's the white pumpkin squash that was just sown. Color on this Hopi squash. Probably won't even take seeds from this one because all of the other squash that are showing up are way larger than that. And not even anywhere showing signs of any type of ripening back there. Mediterraneans, still slow to get color on them. And I put in some little cumin sprouts there. I want to show you this. Absolutely stunning purple yellow up against that dark stem. First of the emerald apple eggplants showing up. Eggplants were strange for me because when I was up north, I didn't know anybody who couldn't grow them without using some kind of pesticide. And down here, and now this is the 3rd location in South Carolina, I've never had bug problems with them. So I don't know what's going on up north. So this is what I just referred to as the Italian variety for sun-dry. I'll give it a shot. Principe Borghese. And this also makes a wonderful eating tomato, even though it's small. I collected the seeds and put it in the salad. Very enjoyable. Even though it's really small compared to some of the other peppers on the same plant, this one's going ripe. I'll just eat it. I won't use it for seed collection. I'll wait till I get some other much larger of the albino bullnose. There, we got some color, orange color showing up on that one. That's a nice size. It's a few inches long. These are dwarf plants, so if you grow them, you can't expect them to be a large bell pepper. Still no signs of the winged bean. Vines look okay. They don't look fabulous. And this is a Mariana squash right here. 2, 4, 6. The okra is here. No bug problem. No approach was taken to the other plants that had the activity on there. Which brings me to a homesteading friend of mine sent me a little trailer on a Japanese farmer back in the 70s who started what he called the one straw revolution. Did finally get the delicatessen cucumbers in. And here's a shot of the giant Cape gooseberry. Can't wait to try it. That pineapple coconut flavor mix. Back to One Straw Revolution. This Japanese guy came from a farming family, and then he went into being an agricultural inspector, then he went back into farming. And he started to question why we do the things that we do in modern day gardening, farming practices. And he decided to start eliminating a lot of things because of what nature does and does not do. So he doesn't plow and fertilize, and he does companion planting and uses plants to put nitrogen into the soil and and this, that, the other thing, and he lets the insects do what they do, because in nature there's always a balance. If there's a problematic insect, there's usually a predator right along there to keep it in balance. And that's kind of what I practice here, and it's kind of along the lines of permaculture. Here I have a view of the ground cherries. Now, I read that when these are ready to go, the cherry will actually pop out of the pod, and I'm finding that to be not true. That is clearly out of the pod and not ready. And then there was out of the pod, and he was so ready he had exploded. I found that when you go to the yellow ones, that if they just totally break free, see, I'm touching that one and it's still on there, and I barely touched this one and it just broke free. This is ripe. It is unbelievably tasty. You pop it open and he's yellow on the inside. This one probably could have gone just a little bit longer, sat on the countertop. The ones I tried, the first taste test was yesterday. Whew. Beautiful, beautiful fruit. I wish I had known it was so tasty. I would have ordered way more seeds and grown a lot more at one time. But that's what I'll do next year because I'm on seed collection right now. Gold ball. Love those things. Love them, love them. Anyway, so ground cherries. Highly recommend them. And what do we have here? The delicata, I mean. So, these names. The delicata is the cucumber that I showed you back there. And this is the delicata. Now there are varieties of delicata. I believe this is the honey boat. These are small vines. They produce small squash. But as far as Michael's concerned, they're absolutely one of the best tasting squash that we've ever had. If you enjoy very fine-grained, extremely sweet squash, you're gonna love it. Well, what else? I think that's about it for today. I'm gonna get into the house and start rinsing more of the seeds. I've got tomato seeds, and I've already plated the first round of the cucumber seeds. And I've mentioned earlier that I'm just going to let the dragon tongue bean go direct to seed. Just let it get mature, dry it out. So in a very short time you'll get to see, you know, how I cluster them and hang them to dry. All right, hope everybody's doing well wherever you're at and hanging tough. I'll talk to y'all soon. Much love and respect. Arrivederci.